What's up, guys? It's me again, Christian Rodriguez, and today I wanted to talk about so something in my self improvement journey. I've been learning another language, and it's the reason why I decided to learn French. Right. So for the past year, I've been studying French. I started off with Duolingo. Not even the no, it was like July. It might have been like July, June or July. I started learning French. I was on Duolingo. I started doing the basic, like the exercises. You're Most people on who are watching this are probably familiar with Duolingo, but yeah, I was using the Duolingo, whatever, very basic, because I knew I was going to Paris for like a day or two. But I wanted to just know some French, and it was my second time going to Paris, and I remember I was like curious, and I'm like, what if I took this seriously and like actually got fluent in the language. So it kind of became a personal challenge of myself. It was like a personal goal for me, right, to get fluent at the language. And I'm not fluent yet, but I can have a basic conversation with someone. And what I wanted to say is traveling, like what led me to wanting to do this is I would say I've traveled a fair amount in my 20s. Not like for a long period of time, but I would travel. Like I've been to a decent amount of countries. Like I've been, depends what your perception is. I've been to like what 15, 16 countries. Um, I've been to Europe 5 times. I've been to Asia 3 times in the past 10 years. Um, so yeah, I'm fairly familiar with traveling. Right, Latin America. I've only been in Dominican Republic and Mexico, and Dominican Republic because of my family. But yeah, I I also been to Paris twice, and I know this is a very cliche thing to say, but I really love Paris. I love the food, I love the architecture, I love the culture. Even though I know Paris gets a bad rep, I love Paris. I completely love it. And I 100% plan on going back. Even I would go for a long time. I would go for like more than a week. Like I would be there for a month, thriving, right? And yeah, also I since I know Spanish, right? So I already speak Spanish. Spanish is my second language because my parents are from the Dominican Republic. They're immigrants from there. So I grew up speaking Spanish at home and have other family members that only speak Spanish. So I grew up just speaking Spanish, right? So it's been a little effort for me. Like I guess it was one of the fortunate things for me. It's one of the lucky things for me is I grew up learning another language, right? So I thought, oh, if I learned French, then I would know a third language. I would be able to speak a third language, right? And French is a very commonly spoken language. It's usually the romance language. It's a very romantic language. It's a language of love, whatever it is. But I thought it would be a really cool language to learn. Plus, I loved going to France, so I thought this would be a really cool personal goal of mine to like achieve, right? And another benefit I thought of like why the reason why I picked French and I didn't pick like another language. I thought of Italian. My only issue is Italian's only spoken in Italy, right? And maybe like a tiny little piece of Switzerland. But French is spoken in multiple different countries. It's spoken in different countries in Europe: France, Belgium, Switzerland. It's spoken. It's spoken in Quebec, in Canada. It's even spoken in some parts of the U.S. It's spoken in a large chunk of Africa, right? It's a more of a common language, right? So I already speak English and Spanish, and now I'm speaking French. Now I could communicate with more people. I have an access of more people that speak the language. And I also thought I like the culture, so it just worked out really well, right? And it's also among the top. So according to Google, it's among the top languages in the world. I have it pulled up right here. So it's actually fifth. It's the fifth language with the most total speakers around the entire world. Fifth most, 274 million people, right? Behind Spanish. English is first, Mandarin is second, Hindi is third, Spanish and French. So French is fifth. So that's pretty awesome. That's a good reason to learn another language, right? That gives me opportunities in the future. And yeah, so I also see it as a way that you can stand out, right? I see it as a way I can stand out. Even like that's why I think it's one of those little ways to stand out because for men, especially, the more different you are, the more attractive you are to other people. And I'm not even just talking about women, but just people in general, right? Yeah, it's one thing if you're in shape, right? And then you have money, you have a business, you have a good lifestyle, right? But then maybe you speak two languages, three languages. It's like, oh, okay, this guy is interesting. This guy, that's the way I see it. I see it as it's a way that you can connect to other people, but it's also a way to stand out, right? And plus, when I worked a sales job in New York City, there was a ton of French tourists, maybe Belgian tourists, French speaking tourists who didn't speak any English. And I tried speaking to them in Spanish to see if they spoke Spanish, only French. So it was also like I was also exposed to the language and I was exposed to the people. So I thought it'd be a good idea to learn the language, right? To get fluent in it. And yeah, so that's the thing, especially if you're in America, you're in Canada, UK, Australia, New Zealand, right? Most people only speak English. If you learn one other language, you already stand out. You're already different from the crowd, which is why I think it's a good idea to learn another language. And French, I think French is such a great language to learn. It's not a language that's only spoken in one country. It's spoken in countries around the world. So I think it's a great opportunity for it. Um, I also think it also opens up a gateway so you can make new friends. You can have friend groups, different friend circles around the world from when you're traveling, right? Maybe you spend 6 months. Maybe your business allows you to spend 6 months in France, right? And you decide maybe you live in the south of France because you love the Mediterranean. You have a friend circle there. You're fluent in a language. You speak French, right? You're dating French women. You're you have like your own different life there, right? And then you go back to America and you're Christian or whoever you are, right? You go back to America, you have your own friend group there. You only have your own friend circle there. But it's a little different because it's American culture. But you have your own American friend circle and maybe you have your own European friend circle, right? You could be a polyglot too. I don't know if I would do that, but yeah. I also see. I don't even need this anymore, but I also see that it's a great. First of all, it's a great language to learn. It's great to learn another language. It it forces you not to only learn the language, but also learn more about the culture. It makes you more intrigued on the culture. It makes you more intrigued on the people, on like their behaviors, on what they do. So you're not just learning a language and you're learning it. You're learning also about another culture, right? Because cultures have different norms. They have different ways of thinking. They have different ways of different ways they pass their time, right? Like Americans, we like to do things fast. We'll order takeout. We like the fast food. And it's not that everyone eats fast food, but we Americans like convenience. We like speed. We like efficiency, right? We like our fast food. We don't like to sit down for 2 hours or 3 hours and talk during lunchtime. The French people, they love to do that. They see value in that. They think that Americans are excessive with work. I think Americans are excessive, that Americans don't enjoy life. And there's just different ways of thinking. I'm still learning a little bit of this myself, but yeah, I just think that personally, I think more people need to learn the language. I think more people need to at least like learn another language. And I'm not going to say study by yourself, even though most of it is studying by yourself. So you definitely have to do some form of studying by yourself. But I would say something that really helps is if you're not that motivated to like learn another language, don't. But if you are motivated to learn another language, I would say hire a tutor. Hire a tutor. If you have to see them once a week, it's actually very helpful. You can speak the language with them. You struggle. You go through the phase of sounding like a moron. They teach you different stuff, and it's probably the best way to do it. Just to get a tutor, you know, and slowly just learn the language that way. And I wouldn't devote too much time to learning the language. For me, I do 15 minutes a day. And if I'm super busy that day, if I can't do anything or I just don't want to bother, I'll put on a podcast, like a French podcast on my AirPods while I take a walk or while I eat, or sometimes when I work out too. I also read. I have a French book. I have a French book that I read. It's an intermediate book. I also have a beginner book. And yeah, it's just so I could be as exposed to the language as possible. And I even follow like pages like Steve Kaufman, Gola Remy, Ollie Richards, that's one of the books I have. And he talks about really good stuff. And I definitely learned a lot about like their tips on how to take my language learning seriously, and also just like tips on like actually how to learn the language. And it's not always boring writing on a piece of paper like in school. I think that's not the way you learn a language. You actually have to like almost envision yourself in the culture. And yeah, I seriously think more people need to do it. It's also if you need another selling point, it's a cognitive enhancer. It's proven to decrease cognitive decline as you get older. Because when you get older, you usually get cognitive decline. But when you learn another language, your brain is developing some new neural pathways. I'm not a scientist, so you definitely got to look it up, which I know you won't. But if you should look it up, and yeah, you look it up, and there's benefits. There's cognitive benefits to learning another language. So that's really it, and I highly recommend it. It's a very good thing, and it's just, who knows? It might open another world for you. It might open another world for you. You might end up meeting the future mother of your children in that culture. You never know. It might be amazing for you. It might be something that you actually never thought you really enjoy. That's the thing. It's one of those habits. It has to be a habit. It has to be one of those habits. You have to really like love the culture. And that's how I would pick the language. I would pick the language if I really enjoy the culture, right? I'm not going to just tell you to learn Russian just because, like, unless you have some sort of emotional connection to why you want to learn Russian, then I don't think, if you don't have any sort of connection or any desire to learn Russian, then I'm not going to tell you to learn Russian. So, but I do see a benefit in learning another language, and I'm going to leave it at that. Pretty sure I said all my points. Appreciate you guys for watching me. Subscribe below. Thank you guys so much. Take care.